tried to warn him.
This video is brought to you by Loot Crate. Stick around to the end so I can tell you how to get 15% off a box full of cool Marvel stuff, okay? Jeez.
Who the hell are you?
I'm Miss Martian, jackass.
Well, actually, that was the news reporter lady from Justice League Unlimited and Static Shock, but I know what you mean. So, okay, like, what the heck is going on here? We've made a couple of, let's say, boo-boos in the past when bringing characters up in videos that, at the time, did not exist as part of the DC animated universe. The one spanning 1992's Batman the Animated Series through, well, when we made those videos, through the mid-2000s. There was no main timeline Hal Jordan until there was. There was no Jason Todd until there was. And there was certainly no Miss Martian until there was. Yes, with the announcement of the animated movie Justice League vs. the Fatal Five back in 2018, the internet was buzzing with rumors and fan theories surrounding its yes or no placement in DCAU continuity, based on tiny smatterings of screenshots that teased upcoming characters like Starboy, Jessica Cruz, and the titular Fatal Five. But once the movie's sneak peek dropped as a special feature attached to Reign of the Supermen, not only did we get much more confirmation that this was indeed going to be a DCAU movie, we also got this.
Miss Martian we just liked. Miss Martian is fun.
You know what? I'm getting a mochaccino.
We knew she'd make a good foil for Batman.
Killed it. Team Supreme.
Wait, what? How does that's it? The whole 9.5-minute exclusive look, and that's all we got about Miss Martian is in this movie? Huh? You see, in the Justice League animated series that the film was seemingly following up, the character of J'onn J'onzz, classically known as the Martian Manhunter, was repeatedly mentioned to be the last of his species, the last Martian. And I know, Miss Martian is not a green Martian, she's a white Martian. Sorry, spoilers, I put it up top, you had every chance to click away, but the white Martians also do not exist in the DC animated universe, right? They were thematically replaced by these guys. Right? Well, Miss Martian is here, and by becoming a member of the Justice League by the end of the movie, apparently here to stay. So I ask again, what the heck is going on here? How does Miss Martian possibly exist in this continuity? Well, what if I told you I have the answer? Because I have the answer. That's what this video is.
Showtime, everybody!
Engagement.
They can talk all they like.
That means everything.
Don't forget that.
You heard it, folks!
To be clear, I'm not in any way upset about Miss Martian being introduced in Justice League vs. the Fatal Five. In fact, I'm kind of jazzed about it. She is indeed fun, Mr. Krieg, and getting to see her in the DCAU art style, mwah, thank you. Truly fantastic. But also, what? Okay, so for a while now, the fan base, which includes me, has been mulling over maybe 3 possible options here. Number 1, she is a green Martian, just like J'onn, and J'onn was wrong about being the last one, even though that's kind of his thing and it would take away from the majority of his character motivation in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, but at the same time, it could be a pretty cool emotional development if we had gotten to, or do ever get to, see it play out. Just like Superman stumbling upon Supergirl's ship and finding another survivor of Krypton's explosion, J'onn discovering that there indeed was another Martian survivor after all, that could be pretty impactful. The Imperium's forces seemingly wiped out every single other living thing on Mars, leaving J'onn to imprison and watch over the enemy's paralyzed bodies for hundreds of years, alone. Then to find out, hey, actually there's another Martian who didn't die by way of squishy amoeba alien, she's right here! That would be a super heartwarming episode. But I don't know if I buy it, unfortunately. Remember that time when J'onn used his telepathy to reach across the galaxy and locate Green Lantern? It was like the second episode, it was a while ago, I don't blame you if you don't remember, but it happened. There are multiple episodes where J'onn uses his mind-reading powers to, intentionally or not, scan upwards of entire cities or planets at once, or again, reach across the stars. My point being, you would think that if there was another Martian who also has telepathy, located either on Earth or Mars, he would know about them. Now, maybe when he shoots his brain juices through outer space in the Green Lantern episode, he can find him because he, knows Green Lantern's mental signature or something Star Trek-y like that. After all, Jean did send out a kind of, hey, please come help us telepathy blast to very specific superheroes in the first Justice League episode, which included Green Lantern. Despite making a video about all his superpowers, I don't know how that works or why he chose these guys in particular, but that's not what we're talking about in this video. It would be the retconniest retcon to ever retcon should the DCAU producers just be like, oh yeah, there's actually another Martian. Is that okay? Then again, they were fine with saying there's actually another Robin, but I don't personally think that's how we can have Megan or McGann or whatever.
I'm Miss Martian, jackass.
Right, sorry. So how about option 2, her traditional origin as a white Martian? No, these aren't just Martians with poor rhythm and fashion taste. These were a completely separate race of aliens that also lived on Mars alongside their green Martian counterparts, at least in mainstream comic book lore. The white Martians were introduced in Grant Morrison's run on the JLA comic in the late 90s, where they were revealed to have been part of a centuries-old feud between the Martian races. In this continuity, in ancient times, the Mars landscape was inhabited by both the green and white species, having evolved alongside each other from the original, really ancient Martians. Those were actually split into 2 genetic species by the Guardians of Oa, the same little blue dudes who created the Green Lantern Corps, out of fear of the original Martians' violent power. This, however, caused the 2 groups to evolve with differing ideologies and instincts, leading to the Greens being the more peaceful philosophical half, and the Whites being ruthless savages. Sounds about right. Keep your politics out of my DCAU video.
Whiteness! White rage!
A long and arduous civil war erupted between the 2 races, which ended with the white Martians being exiled to another dimension known as the Still Zone. Similar-ish to, but different than, the Phantom Zone. Though there were white Martians who managed to elude imprisonment and or escape off-world, including McGann Maors, who would become Miss Martian. This is more or less the same general origin given to her in Young Justice, which was certainly my introduction to her, and I'm sure many of yous guys' as well. And the whole White Martian, Miss Martian thing endures, with the version of the character on the CW Supergirl show and other media since. But as I'm sure you can tell, the White Martian's history is eerily similar to that of the Imperium's forces from the Justice League debut episode Secret Origins. And I'm gonna get the meme out of the way real quick. Yes, this pink tentacle monster is named the Imperium. That is not the name of the invading force as a whole. I will thank you to remember. So I'm not sure there's really room for both them and the White Martians in DCAU mythos. In fact, these unnamed, literally faceless aliens were originally meant to be the White Martians during pre-production on Justice League.
They are basically our version of the White Martians, but we gave them a different backstory. They invaded Mars, wiped out the Mars civilization, and took it over. We were putting our spin on it. So much of the story had to involve introducing ourselves to 5 new characters that we didn't know before. Some of the details that we had about the White Martians got lost along the way.
With all the alien technology in the animated universe, we had a really hard time trying to come up with something we hadn't done before or something that hadn't been seen a zillion times before. During the initial development process, we kind of keyed in on the old illustrator Richard Powers, so all this stuff sort of has a slightly Richard Powers-esque look to it.
So if the White Martians were essentially replaced by these abstract Richard Powers alien invaders for the DCAU, does that mean DCAU Megan is not, in fact, a Martian at all? Could she be one of the Secret Origins aliens? This is the option 3 I was getting to. See, this is where my brain immediately went once we learned that Miss Martian was going to be part of the Justice League vs. the Fatal 5 movie.
This guy is the Imperium, and this guy is Miss Martian.
If the movie turned out to be officially part of the same continuity as the cartoons, which it did,
is canon,
then this seemed to me to be the only possible explanation. If the White Martians were overwritten in-universe by the Imperium's white-colored invading alien army, then surely a traditionally white Martian character would also have her origin changed to reflect that. And look, I get it. Remember Justice League? This is him now. Feel old yet? When the writers and producers of the JL cartoon were working all this out back in the day, they would have had no idea that nearly 2 decades later, someone else would revisit this world and plop Miss Martian into it. They were not prepared for that possibility, nor were they even expecting to ever use the character at the time, because she wouldn't be invented for another 5 years. But to bring her in, to make Miss Martian DCAU canon, means that making her be the equivalent of a White Martian probably makes the most sense. But does it work? We learn in J'onn J'onz's flashback origin story that during their invasion of Mars, the parasitic aliens stole the Martians' shape-changing abilities. This would become a key element of the plot of Secret Origins, with the invaders hiding in plain sight, taking the forms of Wayne Tech scientists, or Justice League members, or dogs, or even United States senators.
Now, follow-up question, if you could say any senator currently.
It's an alien.
So could one of them disguise themselves as a red-headed, green-skinned teenager? Sure, why not? An easy to think of point against this theory, however, is that the invaders seem to always speak their native alien language, even when disguised as superheroes or scientists. But when the moment calls for it, they have no problem working in some Earthling vocabulary.
I'm there. Sounds great.
See you then.
That's why he'll never leave here alive.
Even the alien disguising itself as JSA member name amalgamation Senator J. Allen Carter spoke English like all the time.
Earth's mightiest heroes. Welcome.
We are calling on the public to remain calm.
So it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to say that another one of these aliens practiced daily with their Rosetta Stone tapes as well.
Be yourself in any language.
Another piece of low-hanging fruit, in my mind, is that the alien invaders showed nothing but malicious intent, destroying civilization after civilization across the cosmos, and don't ever show much of a personality, per se, that could waver toward becoming a good guy. But anything is possible. Miss Martian exists, after all, case in point. Besides the Injustice for All Game Boy Advance game and these random little Burger King comics that call them the Imperium, oh my god. The invaders' only other major appearance was Justice League Adventures number 16, where one of them actually gets programmed to think it is J'onn J'onz, complete with J'onn's compassion and emotional connection to his teammates. The issue ends with that alien sacrificing itself to save the Justice League, having gained their respect and friendship. The invaders in this issue even speak English several times. So with all of that, it's not completely out of the question for Miss Martian to somehow be wrapped up in a similar situation. But what about the space elephant in the room? You know, their extreme weakness to plain old sunlight. They're softly kissed by a couple of UV rays, and oh my god, this is horrifying! Did alien Senator Carter just never go outside?
The answer is that they used a lot of sunblock.
Yes.
Okay, so minor plot holes notwithstanding, we do see Miss Martian outdoors in direct sunlight multiple times in the Fatal 5 movie. And she doesn't melt into a bubbly puddle of Elmer's glue. In fact, she has a distinct and notable fear of fire, the classic Pokemon weakness of green Martians in the comics, which is also historically the weakness of the white Martians, but we already said she's probably not one of those. Gosh, you're silly. So, what? If she's not a green Martian, or a white Martian, or a squishy, swirly cookies and cream alien invader, what the hell is she? God, I wish I had interviewed the writer of Justice League vs. the Fatal 5 when the movie came out. I wish I had asked him about the origin of Miss Martian when I had the chance.
Oh wait, I did. All them heroes is in the house.
Just watch.
Each of you brings something different to the table.
Back when hashtag JLVSF5 came out in March 2019, we here at old WDB managed to snag an interview with one of the film's writers, fellow child and constant source of our own jealousy, Eric Carrasco. For a few weeks in the intervening time between the movie release and our chat, us data buds had been trying to wrap our heads around the whole Miss Martian thing in terms of pre-established continuity, and knew that if we ever got the chance to ask Eric about it, we would take that chance. But what we didn't know was that he wouldn't want to answer publicly. We kept that bit of the interview recording out of the final edit. Yes, that's right, there has been a secret chunk of Eric's interview floating around on my Watchtower Database dedicated hard drive for like over 2 years now, in which Eric reveals Miss Martian's DCAU origin. But before I spill the green beans, why did Eric want to keep it a secret? Well, do you remember these animated movies? 2015's Justice League Gods and Monsters, 2017's Batman and Harley Quinn, 2018's Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, and that same year's Death of Superman all got paired with tie-in comic books that expanded their respective films' stories. And if that's news to you, I am not surprised. Our YouTube channel dives into some of the deepest DC animation lore imaginable, and thus these comics were certainly on our radar, but they, well, didn't really do so hot in overall sales. Hell to Pay's comic received 12 issues, initially released only on digital outlets, and was barely advertised. Death of Superman's comic fell to the same fate, plus the added public confusion of being a comic attached to a movie that was based on a different comic, and the story and character designs didn't 100% line up with the continuity of the movie it was attached to anyway. The entire Gods and Monsters franchise, while being objectively one of the coolest things DC and WB have put out in years, performed so poorly that the already scripted and designed sequel content was canceled. And then there was Batman and Harley Quinn. Not only did the comic share a name with the movie while actually being a sequel, not only was it confusingly released simultaneously with a prequel comic inversely titled Harley Quinn and Batman, not only did it face some big-time scheduling conflicts that caused the final sequel issue to come out before the prequel was finished, not only did it release physically before digitally, but only partially and in a Best Buy exclusive hardback book that came inside the movie's Blu-ray case and was named a completely different title. Oh, wait, no, that was all the things. But that's a lot of things. But what the hell does this have to do with Miss Martian? Okay, so I bring up all of that because it turns out Eric Carrasco was hoping to get to write a tie-in comic for Justice League vs. the Fatal Five, in which, among other things like expanding on the Rann-Thanagar War references within the film, he would have revealed the origin of Miss Martian. And yet, DC never approved his pitch. They never made the comic. Gee, I wonder why. Their track record is tremendous. In our side conversations before the interview, Eric expressed hesitance in discussing this Miss Martian reveal on the off chance that DC ever reached back out after they'd started ghosting him on the subject. But it's been long enough now that Eric has either A, come to terms that the comic isn't going to happen at this point, and or B, succumb to my incessant pestering to do a video about a huge DCAU revelation that I've just been sitting on for 2 years, Eric! 2 years! So now, from the telephone recorded mouth of Mr. Carrasco himself, I give you how Miss Martian works in DCAU continuity. At least in his brain.
I have what I would do and what I think it is. I will say that my plan for the comic book, if anybody were to ever do it, or if they were ever to ask me to do another one of these movies, would involve a bit of a mystery around her, sort of the way it was treated in Young Justice. And that would be part of why Batman was kind of hesitant, that John basically drops her off on Batman's doorstep and then goes off to help out with the Rann-Thanagar thing with John and Sarah without telling Batman the full story. You said basically the three options for it, right? That it's Imperium, or that it is she is an actual Green Martian, or that White Martians are a different thing. But I will also say this. There were also Martians on Saturn in the comics. So since there was a Martian colony elsewhere in the comics, it might be fun to explore that in the animated world, since Mars had a different backstory in the Timverse. That would be where my head would naturally go, which is always back to comics.
Wait, okay. I'm not comic book guy around here. There were Who's-Its on where now? Let me just... Okay, so I just read several decades worth of comic books in that 5 seconds there. Let me tell y'all what the heck he's talking about. Remember earlier when I mentioned the ancient war between the Green and White Martians? Well, as it turns out, something little I only watched the cartoons James didn't know about is that part of that war involved Saturn. Both races of Mars, or Ma'aleka Andra as they called it, created clones of themselves to act as worker drones to expand Martian civilization to the moons of Saturn, or Hranmirka Andra. I feel like I'm recording the Green Lantern Corps history script again. And Larvox of Sputa. I am so sorry that is the name of your planet. There's a lot of expanded lore surrounding the Martian colonization of Saturn, but the very long story short of it is that the Green Martians were cloned to create the Red Saturnians, and the White Martians cloned to create White Saturnians. I don't know why green became red, do not ask me, I am not the guy to answer this question, but due to the White Martians being a bunch of assholes, they wound up enslaving their White Saturnian clones, an act which actually ignited, you're welcome for the fire pun, the war between green and white Martians in the first place. In the end, after the other dimensional banishment of the White Martians, the Saturnians were all freed, but the White Saturnians had essentially genetically inherited their Martian makers' hatred, and the Red and White Saturnians hopped into wartime with each other too. That's the gist of it.
I kept thinking about exploring it on Supergirl with our version of McGann, and that, I will say, appealed to me while I was writing this movie, but there was so much cut from this movie that, like, to think about adding something like that to it was just like, in truth, all you needed to know was she was Martian. In some way, and she wanted to be a member of the Justice League. Beyond that, just had that headcanon thing. It's a Saturn thing, but that's literally just me. I don't think I ever brought that up to any of the rest of the team.
While we don't really know much more past that, there are a couple interesting inferences we can make when slotting this new nugget into the animated universe mythology that already exists. For one, the whole Saturnian War storyline in the 90s prominently featured a DC character who hasn't had nearly as much page time as he deserves. Jem, son of Saturn, who you may or may not recognize from his recent appearances in Scooby-Doo Team Up or Supergirl. Jem first appeared in his self-titled Jem, Son of Saturn #1, launching a 12-issue miniseries in 1984, originally envisioned as the cousin of J'onn J'onzz, though never outright stated. But to avoid continuity problems that I don't have time to get into, Jem's true origin was revealed sometime later. Jem was trained to use his mental powers by a white Saturnian teacher named Rahani, who was murdered in front of Jem. His parents, Saturnian royalty, were also murdered in front of him. At least his mom was. I didn't really read far enough to figure out what the heck's up with his dad. Just bad stuff happened. Jem fled to Earth, where he found himself part of many adventures over the next several years of comics, including a time he was brainwashed by the Injustice Gang to attack the Justice League, and another where J'onn J'onzz helped heal his mind to become a superheroic ally. This whole Saturnian refugee approach seems to be a similar concept to what Eric had in mind for McGann, down to J'onn potentially taking the place of the White Saturnian teacher. Eric even cited the gem-heavy Martian Manhunter Rings of Saturn as an influence on his Miss Martian story. But when I asked him whether she would be a red Saturnian or white, his only responses were things like, I hadn't gotten that far, or I probably would have run past it if I could. A second interesting connection can be made in regards to another character who appears in Justice League vs. the Fatal Five, Saturn Girl. She's literally from Titan, one of the moons of Saturn. The Saturn of the 31st century, but still. According to her Superman the Animated Series biography, Saturn Girl has highly developed mental powers. Not only can she read minds, she can also erase memories and put in new images. And this is true of her mainstream comic counterpart as well, with every Legion of Superheroes era Saturn native wielding psychic superpowers. In DC comic lore, this was actually caused by experiments conducted by the Dominators, who are also mentioned in the Fatal Five movie. But knowing how many times the DCAU crew have meddled with traditional continuity in favor of their own unique ideas, like, you know, what we've been talking about this whole video, it would certainly be a fun concept to have the future Saturnians be descended from the Saturnians that were clones of Martians who have psychic superpowers. In this fan-theorized format, Miss Martian shares screen time with a potential future descendant at the end of the movie, and I like it so much, but all of this does basically hinge on the White Martians still existing in the DCAU regardless, so as a kind of workaround, maybe we could say there were literal green Martians hiding out on Saturn, having escaped the Imperium's invasion of Mars somehow. But then we're back to the same "why wouldn't J'onn know about them" argument, and I guess the answer could be plot device. So yeah, we can go with this as Megan's DCAU origin, that she's a Saturnian of some kind, but it's important to remember that this is simply what Eric had inside his crazy little head.
And keep in mind, this is just one writer's opinion. I mean, he wrote the movie, co-wrote the movie, but you know.
According to him, it was even his plan back when the Fatal Five movie was still going to be in the same universe as Justice League Crisis on Two Earths and Doom. Yeah, that was a thing. Because he always tries to headcanon his DC work into DCAU continuity, no matter how absurd. Miss Martian's origin literally lives inside the skull of Eric Carrasco. Well, and our skulls here at the Watchtower Database since 2019, and now your skull. But you get what I mean.
It's a Saturn thing.
So now that you know the big ol' secret, what's your opinion on it? Please feed the starving algorithm beast by leaving us a comment down under in the Australia box to answer our question of the day. Would you want to see this Miss Martian origin explored in a DCAU comic? And do you want to see more of DCAU Miss Martian in general? Maybe in the inevitable JL reunion movie. I certainly want to see more of her, including Jean showing up at Wayne Manor like, haha, please take this alien child, no time to explain, bye. With how many new DCAU stories we've been getting lately, with Batman The Adventures Continue and the new Justice League Infinity, this universe is still full speed ahead. And hey, even if DC Comics themselves don't want to greenlight a Fatal Five tie-in comic, psst, Eric, I will draw it for you. You've got my number. We'll do coffee. Wait, I was just getting Phantom Zone clips from the Superman episode Blast from the Past, and like, this dude looks very White Martian-y, don't you think? I'm calling it. The Still Zone and the Phantom Zone are the same thing. All the ancient Martian war stuff did happen in the DCAU, which led to Saturnians, which led to Miss Martian. We gotta let this guy out of the Phantom Zone and ask him the real questions. Thank you everyone for watching, and now, a quick word about Loot Crate before the last little bit of the video. Don't click away or I'll whip out the Phantom Zone projector, I swear to Hranmir. I'm gonna cut right to the chase. You know what Loot Crate is. You've been on this planet long enough. Yes, I know this is a Marvel-related Loot Crate. What's Marvel doing in this video? I'm wearing a My Hero Academia t-shirt. I'm wearing a Batman hat. None of this makes any sense. It's like, you know, Miss Marvel. I'm gonna open this up. If you, for some reason, don't know what Loot Crate is, it's a monthly subscription service. You get cool stuff mailed to your house every month. I got this from Loot Crate in February, so the contents of this box isn't actually what you would get if you ordered it, but it's similar stuff. A couple years ago, I got these really cool Doctor Strange coasters. So shiny and nice. I have one on my desk every time I do a stream. You can't see it, but it's there. There is a link in the description you can go to. If you click it and then get a Loot Crate, we get a little bit of kickback, so you click the link. 4 Yancey Street, Barbecue and Grill. This is a reference I don't get. At checkout, you can use the coupon code INTELLECT, as in our podcast that we used to have and will be coming back soonish. What's this? Property of the Baxter Building. What kind of object? Is this a, like, pencil case? Jessica, what is this? What the hell is all this? What's this strap stuff? No, don't, no. What is this? Is it an oven mitt? You put your hand like so, and then you can, like, take hot stuff out of the oven. And oh, Jesus. The Fantastic Car as a keychain? I know what that is. It's very shiny. Look at it. And then last we got some Dr. Doom pins. You got his head and a hand. Oh, I took this out of the box and totally didn't talk about it at all. There's some Fantastic Four socks also. Boom. These are just examples of some of the stuff you can get with Loot Crate. Thanks for being a looter, it says. That sounds like I'm going to jail. Link in the description. Go get a Loot Crate. Use the coupon code INTELLECT at checkout. Get 15% off. Paying less money, but some money goes to us. Please? You dropped your thing. You go. No, that's not how you do it. Return to the end of the video. That's it. Thank you so much to all of our supporters over on patreon.com/DCAU Watchtower, who really do continually push us to make better and better videos, both from a financial standpoint and because they're cool, fun people and stuff. Including, but certainly not limited to, our top tier patrons, Mac, Aaron Young, Cameo Shadowness, Luke Mears, and Robert Sterling. Also, one of the perks over there is monthly Zoom calls with myself, Ted, and Maddie, and we revealed this Miss Martian origin to those guys like months ago. Get with the program. But if you don't have the ability to support us monetarily, it's 100% okay. Just listen to your conscience telling you to push that little red subscribe button down there instead, because that's free. No money at all, and it takes you like 2 seconds. I promise it's worth it to welcome us into your ear holes every Sunday. And since we don't bring it up enough, please be sure to also subscribe to our new second channel, the Pod Tower, where you can find archives of all our weekly live streams, as well as every episode of the DCAU Review and Tim Talk podcasts. It's also where we'll be posting new episodes of our podcasts. That's right, plural.
I just missed everything. My computer decided it was going to update and restart.
He told us Miss Martian is is Clayface. She's a piece of Clayface that is still living.
Canon, one of the many personalities and personas that he cycles through in that episode.
That makes sense. That would explain why she knows what Robin looks like.
And why she has the same haircut as Aunt. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.